chair tonight, though.
All right, I would like to call to order the Haymarket Town Council regular monthly meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Lear.
Aye.
Casanello.
Present?
Pater.
Yes.
Person. Schneider. Ramirez.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So we'll now have the invocation given by Pastor Alan Smith of the Haymarket Baptist Church.
Thank you. Would you please bow? O God of love and light, in the midst of our grief, grant us comfort. In the midst of our loneliness, grant us community. In the midst of our anger, grant us peace. And in the midst of our worry, grant us guidance. God, we thank you for those in this space, for those not in this space, for the ways that you continue to be present with the people of Haymarket. We ask for your comfort for those hurting in the Chicago area, and for your wisdom to be present with those who are in this room as we proceed through the meeting. In all things, let your love and your faithfulness flow through our spirits. For it is in thy name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next item is our community spotlight. Tonight we have with us Eileen Smith from the Haymarket Food Pantry.
Good evening, esteemed members of the council. Nice to be back with you again. I know that most of you have heard my spiel with a couple exceptions, so I'm going to do just a little history, and then I'm going to provide an update on where we are. And I guess you have to be named Smith to be invited tonight, isn't it? There seems to be a theme here. Eileen Smith, I'm the executive director of the Haymarket Regional Food Pantry. Until recently, we were right down the street from you, and we outgrew our space and moved over to Limestone Road in Gainesville. We started in 2005, so I know many of you have been here. I'm looking at a few of you since then, and you remember that. So we are now, 17 years old, and I've been associated with the pantry since 2007. Been the executive director for the last 6 years. So we started very small with 27 people receiving services at St. Paul's, right down the street. St. Paul's teamed up with St. Catherine Drexel, the Catholic Church. So those are our two founding churches. Each of those churches has a seat on our board, and then they have a seat that they name. So those two churches hold 4 of our board seats. I hold one. Mary Lou Scarborough is your city representative on our board. And then we have a couple at-large members, and those are volunteers that have been with us for a while who are serving in kind of, leadership positions with us. I should mention that we are 100% volunteers. We have no paid staff, okay? When people ask me what differentiates you, Eileen, from the other folks that do this in your community, the first thing I say is 100% volunteers. The second thing that's very important is that we provide food to our customers every week. Most of the other places around the area are once a month. And the third thing that differentiates us is that we ask for no qualifications. The only thing we ask for is something that proves that you live within our zip code range. Our goal at the Haymarket Food Pantry is to provide food for our neighbors. So with that goal, 90% of our customers are from Haymarket, Gainesville, and Bristow. So everything that comes to us goes right back into our community, all right? In terms of where we are today, so I told you we started 27 people down the street. We actually used to be in this room right here. That's your office. That was our second location. Then we were in the blue house. That's the park now. First we were half the house, then we were the whole house. Then we moved to the building that floods all the time on Jefferson Street. We were, of course, in the basement, right? You know, where else would you be with a lot of food and a lot of water? And then we moved to our new place 3 years ago. We do actually have another new place, and that's right next door to us. Just 2 months ago, we signed another lease. So if you're looking at our building, you all know where Mamma Mia is, right? You've probably gotten a pizza there. So we're here, Mamma Mia's here. In between the two spaces is our new warehouse facility. So we've expanded, we've grown about twice the size. So in terms of our numbers, last year we provided food to 40,000 people got food from us last year. And again, that's because we provide food every week, right? The numbers from the other folks that talk to you are considerably lower. We aggregate all of those folks into a people number. Last month, we serviced 2,900 people. So I'm talking people, not families. In terms of families, last month, we provided food to 725 families. We're averaging about 2,500 per month, and that puts us tracking over the 40,000 from last year. We're averaging 7 to 10 new families per week. And I will say that not only is Prince William and Haymarket majority minority, our customers definitely reflect the demographic of our community. We have 3 new families to us from the Ukraine. They've just been here for 3 weeks, and I'll talk to you about what we've done for them, a little bit special stuff. We also last year picked up 15 families from Afghanistan. So, you know, what you see in the news is what we see every day over where we are. In terms of how much food we provide, every month we provide about 40,000 pounds of food. Every night we provide about 2,000 pounds of food. So the folks that come to us receive in between 3 and 5 days. Okay, so we were talking earlier, we provide fresh produce, we provide meat, we provide shelf-stable items. Recently, since the pandemic, I have begun purchasing milk, eggs, toilet paper, paper towels. In the summer, we provide packages as well as the school breaks to the children that incorporate a breakfast, a lunch, snacks, juices, and milk. Those run me about $8,000 a month. That's an expensive proposition right there, but we have a lot of kids at the food pantry. So last month, I realized that you all got to see my good buddy, Sarah, with Boxes of Basics, right? And she probably let you know that we have partnered. So we were talking about this just before we started. You know, there's a lot of people in our community who need something. And many of those somethings probably need something else, right? So Sarah and I met and we figured out that many children would probably need some clothes if their parents did not have the money to get them food. So Sarah's group gave us 106 boxes last month, and we gave them out to 106 of our children. It was a little bit of a, you know, crazy thing trying to get all the information from the families and get it to Sarah and get the boxes and all that stuff, but it went super smoothly. Her organization is fantastic. We've never provided food, clothes before, never. So this was a really big deal for us. The families were overjoyed. They really were. That was a huge good thing for me. So I mentioned that we've rented out the unit next door. And the reason for this is because what we have found with these purchases that we're making is that when we do them in bulk, we get a much better price. So I purchase from the Capital Area Food Bank, for instance. I purchase from Cisco, the group that provides for restaurants. I purchase from other places too, and the prices that I get, and I brought some examples if you'd like to see, the prices that I get are substantially below market. Last week I got $3,600 worth of food from the Capital Area Food Bank, and it will probably keep us in the items that I ordered for 2 to 3 months. So rice, flour, salt, sugar, those sorts of just staple kind of items are what I'm talking about for there. Something else fun that we've started doing, we partnered up with this group called Cakes for Kids. They reached out to me a few months ago, and they said that they have this army of bakers and that they would love to bake cakes for the children that were having birthdays. So we've given out forms to all of our families, and if they'd like a cake for their child, and I'm telling you, these cakes, if you know, after the meeting tonight, if you go on the website, Cakes for the number of kids, to look at the cakes, I mean, this is like watching the Great British Baking Show. They make them into trucks and sandcastles and unicorns. I mean, they're amazing. And it's all volunteers, and they bring it directly to us, and then we deliver it to the families. We're running about 25 of these cakes per month, so that's good. I thought I'd just give you an idea about the special things that we're doing, because you know the normal things that we're doing. So the clothes was a special, the cakes were a special, the kids packs, definitely a special, and those lunches, breakfast, dinners, we do those for breaks, all breaks, as well as summer. We do get a fair amount of donations. We're trying to really work on a recurring donations. You know, the people who give us $25 every month, that's a real focus for us. So in our mailings, in our emails, we're attempting to push that message very gently. We're redoing our website right now with that to be a focus too. And the real reason for that is because as I do these purchases, you know, I'm talking about last month I spent $18,000 on food, okay? So $3,600 with the Capital Area Food Bank, $8,000 with Cisco, and I actually have another program that's called the Weekly Shoppers Club, where I give shopping cards to Aldi, Giant, and Wegmans, to a team of ladies, and they go out and they buy the small things that we need that I don't buy from the other places, that we don't get regularly from our food drives and so on. So anyway, our donations, we've got 150 people who are recurring for us now, which is really good. And you know, I know that in the position that you're in, people probably ask you questions about, are there really people in our community that don't have food, right? So I'll point you to a Washington Post article from last Wednesday. It was on the front of the Metro section. It chronicled a report that the Capital Area Food Bank did that shows that in current conditions today in our area, 33% of people are food insecure. And as you go up the continuum of black, brown, etc., those numbers actually jump. I won't tell you that's 100% of who I serve. I'll tell you that I have teachers, and I have policemen, and I have firemen, and I have people who just don't make enough to make it through. This is a very expensive place to live, and when you throw a couple kids into the mix and maybe some daycare, you're really strung over the barrel. The latest statistics I saw from Prince William County are that a two-parent household with 2 children in daycare, their just expenses in our county are $86,000 annually. That's not any savings. That's just paying off the credit card kind of thing. So that's when people say to me, look at Piedmont, look at Dominion Valley, like who's coming to you? And I say, you know what? Piedmont and Dominion Valley are actually coming to me. So, don't judge a Mercedes by its cover. We've got a few of those in our parking lot too, but who knows what's going on with them. I should close by telling you that 1/3 of the people who come to us for 2 or 3 weeks. We're just a stopover for them. You know, we're just somebody to help them. In the middle, another third are people that come to us for in between 6 and 9 months. And then the other third are our neighbors that we have seen since we were in the closet over here for the last 15, 20 years. So, any questions that I can take from the group?
Anybody have questions?
Just one. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
How has the pandemic affected your operation?
So I would say that the pandemic has affected us in 2 ways. The first is that during the height of the pandemic, we could not buy anything. There's nothing to buy. And it was also tempered by the fact that we couldn't get any volunteers. And the need was still there. So we went to giving out gift cards. That was all we could do. You know, 1 person, 2 people, 3 people could give out the cards. You remember when we shut down the town because we filled up the parking lot at the Food Lion, right? So that was one. Another way that the pandemic impacted us is when the county started the farmers program, where the milk that was not going to the schools anymore, they needed a place, so they gave it to us. We got milk, we got cheese, we got yogurt. The folks down at the kitchen in Pace West, they were cooking food for us that the county had given to them. So they were bringing meals to us, which we generally don't do meals, but we did meals then, you know, whatever you're going to do. That was another thing. And what I learned from that is that once you start doing something, you can't stop. So, you know, the milk dried up, the cheese dried up. All of a sudden, what did I just tell you? I'm buying milk, I'm buying, you know. So you can't say no once you've done something like that, particularly with the amount of children that we have. Another thing that was interesting just in the last year is that we always do Thanksgiving and Christmas. You all know, you've helped us with that in years before. And last year we got a whole lot of stuffing and a whole lot of, you know, just the normal Thanksgiving stuff. And in January, you know, I walk in, let's do our inventory. What do we got? Well, we've got all the stuffing still sitting there. And we've got all the cranberries still sitting there. So we did a survey. Pass it down. We did a survey in January because I was thinking, what's going on here? Why aren't these folks taking this food that we've spent all this money on and put together? And it turned out that what we think people want to eat is not necessarily what they want to eat. I would go back to my comments earlier about the demographics changing. You can see here that our customers said they wanted eggs, they want vegetables, they want milk. Oil, we'd never had oil as a staple, never. But it also goes with something else that's on the list. They want corn flour so they can make tortillas, and you have to have oil with the flour to make the tortillas. So with this information, we decided, okay, we need to kind of change our focus a little bit, make our list of foods different, and purchase a little bit smarter for who we are serving. So when you come over, not if, I'm sure I would love for you all to come take a visit, see both of our spaces now. You'll see that the items that we have on the shelf are very different than when you came before. And that's what moves. That's what people need. Now, certainly, they still want milk and eggs and all that stuff too, but they clearly are telling us there's some things that I never even thought of. I mean, sardines, for Pete's sake. That was top of the list. Never would have ever.
Yeesh. Not a fan.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
Yes. I met you at the farmer's market.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me your card, and I'm sorry that I couldn't attend the last time that you hosted us to do a walkthrough.
That's fine.
I was away on a family vacation that time,
for
but
you.
I'm glad that you're here today. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Sure.
I did want to ask, how can someone volunteer for your organization?
So on our website, you know, across the top, the second one is I Want to Help.
Okay.
And if you click down, it says, I want to give money, I want to help you volunteer. So you just click on that. We have 2 training sessions a month on Saturdays at 12:15. They're about 15 minutes long, where we teach you, be kind to everyone, don't be judgmental, you know, just some of our tenets. It's also an insurance thing, so we can say, we taught you how to do this and sign here on the dotted line kind of thing. And then once you go through the training, you can volunteer. We're open in the mornings from 8:30 until 11, Monday through Saturday. We're open for distribution in the evenings from 5:30 until 8. We get there at 5. And then we have people in the afternoons who answer the phone and stuff the kids' packs and, you know, do all sorts of stuff. So we have all sorts of volunteer opportunities. We'd love to have you come.
Yes,
She
I
will,
would love that.
she will. She's our new liaison.
Oh,
She's the liaison to
marvelous.
the pantry.
Okay, excellent.
No,
that
I
a
would
motion?
absolutely love to volunteer, and I appreciate, again, you coming and speaking to it, because I know that some people watch the recordings that can't be here, but also to let us know how we can, you know, reach our residents and constituents and let them know how they can, you know, give back to our wonderful community that you've been serving for, you said 17 years?
Yes.
So, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
If I may, if I can make a comment. Nice to see you again, Eileen.
Nice to see
I
you.
did have an opportunity to tour that facility 2020.
We were masked up, I remember that.
We were, yes. It's a great facility. And I was just sitting here thinking, I mean, 100% volunteer. How many organizations have 100% volunteer? I don't know of many. And I think that's commendable. And I was just also thinking about your overhead costs. I mean, you didn't really mention that too much. You were talking more about what you give
Right.
and your lease and all, but I mean, your overhead, that's not given as part of your volunteer work.
No, it's pretty substantial, especially now that we've just doubled down on the space.
Right.
The space over there is about $4,500 a month for one, so we're approaching 10. That's not the air conditioning, the water, you know, all that
Those-
stuff.
Right.
So when it's all, you know, when you look at the P&L for the month, it's about $13,000 a month. Because we have to have a lot of pest control. You know,
Because of the
I
food.
don't call those guys our employees because they're a contractor, but I mean, they have to come in every week because we just, the turnover of this stuff is crazy. And we were talking before the meeting, right now we have some farms who are giving us fresh produce. So, you know, we have to open up the garage door in the back, bring it all in. Who knows what else is coming in with us, you know, so, but it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Our costs are covered. This place is magical. Whenever we need something, it just magically shows up. We're clearly doing the work for somebody because we are not in a bind that way, thank goodness. But
Right.
thank you for thinking of that.
Good.
Yeah, well, and you guys helped us during the pandemic. That giant check really got us
Everybody
through.
helped.
Yeah,
I think we all helped.
yes,
Right? Community itself, yeah.
exactly.
So keep up the great work.
Okay, all right, thank you very much,
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Surplus grew by 40,000 in a week.
All right, so our next item is citizens' time. Would anybody like to come up and speak?
Good evening. Jim Payne, 6680 Fayette Street, Pups Valley. I did listen to the rest of the meeting from last month. I did have to leave early. And a few of you did have some objection to my oversight comment. I just want to briefly explain where that came from and why such an observation or a statement was made. In the April 25th work session, some of you were there, some of you were not. A direct question was asked, and let me try to get this right. If this was a program they were promoting, why near the time of the contract renewal are they coming back and saying, how can we help and help you stay afloat? Myself, I was wondering why it would take to near end of the contract renewal to ask of Richmond what the councilman believed should have been happening since day one. But not to belabor and beat that dead horse, something else that was quite disturbing, I thought, happened a little bit later on in the June 6th meeting, and it got some pushback from some councilmen and I was glad to hear that. Uh, It was a statement where citizens' time was maybe possibly could be curtailed or something of that nature. And I'm assuming that's an in-person citizens' time, the one that's limited to 5 minutes, not the letters sent in and that are read out loud, which honestly, I don't know if there is a time limit on those things. In-person citizens' time participation can usually be counted on one hand with 3 or 4 fingers left over, and tonight being no exception to that. I thought, and maybe I'm wrong here, that you guys were put up there to do its in best interest of citizens and to guide and steer the town in the positive, forward-moving direction. Again, this is just me, but I would think that the council would actually wish to hear from the citizens who they're supposed to represent, that actually took the time to come and address them in person. I do remember a time not that long ago when someone would come up here and slap his book down, exhale, and start to throw bombs, figuratively, of course. And I remember thinking to myself at times, I don't agree with those bombs or where they're aimed or landed, but sometimes I remember thinking to myself, those bombs are actually landed exactly right and true. But the one thing I never did think or question to myself was whether that person was justified to throw those bombs. I never did ask that of myself. So with that, I thank you and have a nice evening.
Thank you. Do we have any emails or anything? Okay, perfect. All right, so we can move on to the consent agenda. Would anybody like to pull anything off of that? No?
I don't.
Okay. So do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You got the next one.
All right, so our only agenda item is the discussion on the future of the ball fields located at 14600 Washington Street. Do we have any discussion on that?
Do we have something?
Yeah, read.
All right, ready? All right, the town of Haymarket has reluctantly concluded that it cannot obtain a lease for the former ball fields at 14600 Washington Street for a reasonable rent, despite the owner's 2013 commitment that the ball fields would be available for recreational use indefinitely. In 2013, Haymarket Properties Group purchased the property at 14600 Washington Street, the former Pace West School, from the Prince William County School Board, and proffers associated with the 2013 rezoning of the school property. HPG committed to maintaining a recreational ball field of approximately 4.51 acres, quote, so long as a public or private partner is willing to enter into a commercially reasonable form of lease agreement at a fair market price, end quote. At that time, Prince William County leased the ball fields property from HPG for 10 years in exchange for paying the taxes on the ball fields. On December 22nd, 2020, however, HPG terminated its lease with the Prince William County Parks and Recreation Department effective June 30th, 2021. HPG asserted that it had a contract to sell the project and that this fact gave HPG an option to terminate the lease before the 10 years were up. HPG has never disclosed the potential purchaser, but claimed that the sales price was $7.5 million. On July 1st, 2021, HPG sent a notice to the town triggering a provision of the 2013 zoning proffers, under which the ball fields were available to lease for recreational purposes for 1 year, after which HPG could use the ball fields however they pleased. After consultation with the County Parks and Recreation Department, the town made an offer on November 3rd, 2021, to rent the ball fields from HPG for $60,275.57 annually based on real estate values in the Haymarket area. On November 30th, 2021, HPG rejected this offer without making any counteroffer. On April 6th, 2022, the town increased its offer to $62,833.33. On June 17th, 2022, HPG made a counteroffer for $220,950 per year plus a share of the property's real estate taxes, insurance, and common area maintenance costs. Even if the town were willing to pay those costs, the town will have incurred about $800,000 to make the ball fields usable, including the replacement of fencing and other improvements that HPG removed during the negotiations. At this time, it is apparent that the town cannot reach an agreement with HPG to lease the ball fields. The town remains interested in operating the ball fields if that can be done at a reasonable cost. If not, then the town will seek other options to provide recreation facilities to town residents and solicits input from the public on what those facilities should be.
Well said.
All right? Good?
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
So let's move to council member time.
Madam,
Yes.
before you move on,
Sure.
will this be posted on our website? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Is it going to be put out as a form of press release as well?
Yep.
Good.
All right. We're good to move on?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Perfect, absolutely. All right, council member time. Councilman Weir.
Just a note, the preliminary surplus for FY '22 appears to be growing a little bit, so I'll probably be coming with some initial proposals in the July work session with respect to how to handle the surplus from last year. That's all I've got.
Joe.
Yes, just want to make sure and wish everybody a happy 4th and hope you had a good time. And the proposition is still alive, tenuously at best, given current affairs, but the proposition remains. So let's hope we keep it going for another 200 and some odd years.
What proposition?
We're free.
That we have a constitution.
Oh, I was going to say, a
and
holiday
the
we just
Declaration of
celebrated.
Independence continues to be the law of the land, I mean, the Constitution.
We do take it for granted. That's a good point, Joe. Thank you.
We do?
There's so many propositions going on, I just needed clarity.
Okay.
Councilwoman Ramirez.
Thank you. I want to let everyone know that this Thursday, our steward of the community garden is going to be doing some things, I believe, in the afternoon, or the evening, I'm sorry, 6 to 7 p.m. They're going to be in the garden, and they would like community help. So if anybody can take an hour of your time and go and 6 p.m. At the community garden. I'm sure Nadia would love to see you, and I think it would be a great opportunity. They got some new pavers, I believe, to put in, and so it'll be a nice activity and hopefully not too hot. Other than that, I just want to encourage everyone to come to the farmers market. It's incredible. It's grown so much, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback, and I see my neighbors there every week, so it's pretty awesome. And thank you, Emily, for all the hard work you did yesterday, or not yesterday, 2 days ago. I'm over it. But thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Morris?
Thank you, ma'am. I think it's a shame that the owners of the ball fields, the Haymarket Property Group, failed to continue their commitment to the residents of the town. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to also wish everybody a happy holiday this past weekend. The farmers market is incredible. I've enjoyed not only going, but seeing the new vendors. So I had a really good time this past weekend. I also wanted to invite any and all residents and businesses to join me in a conversation of our communication plan this Tuesday, July 12th at 6:30 here in Town Hall. It should be about a 45-minute, 60-minute conversation, but would really like to get your input. So I invite you to join. All right. All right, so we need to go into closed session this evening.
We do.
Madam Mayor, I move the council convene in closed session to discuss the following as permitted by Virginia Code Section 2.2, 3711A1, a personnel matter involving assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of the town, specifically dealing with the town manager.
Second.
A first and a second. Everybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Are we still doing it by the, no, never mind.
So we are back in open session. If I could get a certification, please.
Madam Mayor, I move the council certify that in the closed session just concluded, nothing was discussed except the matter or matters specifically identified in the motion to convene in closed session and lawfully permitted to be discussed in a closed session under the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, as cited in that motion.
Second.
Roll call,
Yep.
Mayor,
Aye.
Pasanello,
Aye.
Pater,
Yes.
Ramirez, Morris.
Yes.
Without objection, I would ask that we authorize the vice mayor to execute the proposed contract with the town manager and zoning administrator as drafted.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
6 minutes to spare.